You're listening to the Boston Greeks podcast with Adi and Foti. They've been bringing Greek culture online since 1998, and now they're bringing you the best Greek guests Boston has to offer. So grab your kafedaki and join us.
Hey everyone, welcome to another fantastic episode of the Boston Greeks podcast, the podcast that features the best in the Greek culture that Boston has to offer. And on that note, today's episode is very, very important. Very, very meaningful for Foti and myself, because you'll find out when we bring on our guest. So before our esteemed guest gets on, let me introduce Foti Stamos. Hey, Foti.
Ari, that was a great introduction as always. You're so enthusiastic.
Well, you know, it's all about the guests. If I like the guest, if I'm interested in the guest, I'm super enthusiastic. So, like, if I was introducing you, Foti, I'd be like, welcome to the podcast. But we have a fantastic guest today, and that's why I'm so excited. So, Foti, why don't you give us a little bit of our guest?
So, having said that, keeping us upbeat in our culture, and one of those elements of keeping us upbeat is the music of our culture. And, you know, being Greek, music has been all in our homes, and in our communities, going to events, dances, concerts, and so forth. So, having said that, the person that we're about to bring on, I think, in my opinion, wholly is that they represent our music culture by far. One of the best representations, one of the best musicians, artists, composers. He's also the director of composition over at Berklee School of Music. Let's bring on our good friend, Dr. Panos Liaropoulos. Panos, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're completely super busy in what's going on today, but thanks for taking the time to be with us, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's great to see old friends, and you know, your support through the years, both of you, coming from both of you, I mean, has been so important for us in many things that we have done in the past. So some of those in the distant past we actually did together. If I'm not mistaken, so we have collaborated.
Side note for the audience, I think we, not to date ourselves, but I think we've been working together for almost 20 years in the Boston market.
How can that be, Foti? I'm only 22.
You act 22, but you know, the fact that we can maintain these relationships together through these years, through so many changes in our local community, through our culture and so forth, that here we are, fast forward 2024, on this episode to discuss that you're continuously making efforts to keep our culture alive through music.
And Pano, it also says a lot about you that as a person, to kind of have this union with other Greeks speaks well of you as a person and as a Greek, but also it's your talent that is so in demand that, you know, is also something that, you know, keeps you at the forefront. So can we just like kind of start with a little bit of history? Like, where are you from originally? You know, when did you make your way to Boston, to Berklee, to just a little bit of history about you, if you could.
Yeah, sure. So I was born and raised in Athens, Greece. My family comes from a mountainous area in the Peloponnese, in Arcadia. They're both coming from a village called Vitina. It's like a tourist destination. It's relatively famous. It had been, actually. So I was born and raised in Athens, and I did my undergrad there. I did what I could actually do in Greece at the time. And then I got a Fulbright scholarship for graduate studies here in Boston. And in 1997, I came to Boston for my doctorate at Boston University. So after that, you know, one thing brought the other, and here we are now, 23 years later.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Was music something you always knew was in your future, or is it something that was like, you know, an interest or a hobby, but you didn't think it would be the main course of your life? Like, how was your interpretation of your interest and talent in music when you were younger?
Yeah, well, I started music, I mean, formally studying music when I was 6. Wow. So this has never stopped. My music has always been part of my life. when the time came to make decisions about the future, I knew that music would be part of that future. And then I decided to actually go to the university. I finished all different types of music schools in Greece. And then the next step would be graduate school. So to your question, yes, music has always been with me. I knew it that this would have been what I would do in life. And here we are.
I mean, I love to hear that because, I could study exactly how you studied and I would still probably be barely able to play Mary Had a Little Lamb. So I know that there is an inherent talent. And I always wonder, does that come out when you're young? Does that come out when you're older? Is it something that, I love to hear that the individual explain how these things come up. And it's great to hear. So you said you went to Boston University for your doctorate?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And then that led to you taking a position at Berkeley?
Correct.
Because you teaching at Berkeley that's a pretty big deal. I mean, we've been involved in so many Greek concerts, for example, and almost every musician that has stepped foot in Boston is like, I want to see Berkeley. I want to see Berkeley. And I'm like, it's amazing. So, I mean, how is that transition to get into Berkeley?
So Berkeley is a tough place to get into. I've been teaching there now for 14 years. So wow. This is now the 15th year that is running. It's a tough place to get into. It's a tough place to get into as a student also. I mean, it's not just tough to get into as an academic, but I applied and I got the position. So
I like how you're very humble, Pano. Because it takes a great deal of talent to get to where you are. So I appreciate the humbleness, but also, I mean, that was not easy, and that's pretty impressive. Let
me tell you something. Talent is only a small percentage of what is needed. It is a lot of work, a lot of labor, hours and hours and hours of practicing, of writing, of producing, of all that constitutes what it is to be an academic. So we often think that talent is the main factor in making things happen. Actually, it isn't. It isn't. So even if Mozart, I sometimes I speak about talent to my students, and I tell them, if Mozart, extremely talented person from a very young age did not have the support of his father, the support of all these other people, his teachers, and also the tremendous amount of work that he put into making himself who he was, obviously, it would have never happened. No matter how talented somebody is, if you don't put the hours, it won't happen.
That's a very good point.
If I can add to that, to the three of us, I think what you mentioned, Panos, I'm sure we've all seen in our journeys of meeting people who have some talent that just makes you step back, but yet if they don't apply themselves with what you just mentioned, that talent just goes away.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so you're currently at Berkeley. I know you've been involved in so many events in Boston's history of the last, whatever years. I'm not going to date us like Foti did, but many, many years, you've been involved in so many things from the highest levels to, doing a Greek night with us and just having fun. So I know you're involved in something that's coming up, and I think it's something that we should talk about. If you could give us a bit of background to the event that's going to happen.
Yeah. So since you're mentioning history, you probably know the Greek Music Ensemble. This is a group that has existed actually since 2004. So we have been working, and I think it was also with you that we featured the Greek Music Ensemble in a few places. But that group has been the foundation for what has been happening in the past few years, the bigger events that we're involved with. So the event that we are now looking at is on November 15th at the Berkeley Performance Center at 7:30 p.m. And it is not associated with the Greek Music Ensemble. This is now a production of the Center for Hellenic Music and Culture, which is a nonprofit that I direct.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so it's not a Berkeley production. It's just an independent
Separate.
production of this nonprofit, and we are featuring. It's a tribute concert, I should say, to Vasilis Tsitsanis, the legendary composer, bouzouki virtuoso, etc. He died in 1984. He was born in 1915 and died in 1984. So we're celebrating this year, in 2025. The 110th anniversary from his birth. So we decided to do this big event at Berkeley, and we are bringing from Greece 5 extremely talented individuals. The acclaimed singer Natasha Bofiliou, you probably know her. And 4 musicians that are members of the Tsitsanis Orchestra, which is a formal organization that is performing mostly music by Vasilis Tsitsanis. Wow. So these 5 people, together with another 4 from Boston, local musicians, including myself, will participate in this event. And we think of it as a big celebration of Greek culture. It's not just about Tsitsanis. It's about who he was for what Greek music is today. Tsitsanis is that person, that transitional figure that took rebetiko out of a subculture status that it had been for decades, and he elevated it to that artistic form that has created the future of all, practically speaking, all Greek music that followed. So what we understand as laiko, laiki, Elliniki musiki, is coming out of rebetiko. And Tsitsanis is that seminal, transitional figure that took rebetiko out of that state that it had been for decades to this other place, giving it a new musical and poetic form also. So he's not just anybody. He is, that person that changed the course of Greek music. He's not the only one, but he's one of these few people that changed the course of his music in those early after-war decades.
Wow. That sounds like an amazing event, an amazing concert. It's very important. Greek people are very proud, obviously. Like, we know there is Greek pride. But these are the types of events that happen that, we really need to participate. We really need to support, because, this is history. This is so much about who we are in so many ways. And this is one of those like direct paths of where we've come to be. So, that concert sounds amazing. So we, this is coming out way before the concert, but just in case, we're going to link all the links, tickets, everything. And can you tell us one more time the date and time?
And venue.
So, November 15 at 7:30 p.m. at the Berkeley Performance Center. That's 136 Mass Avenue, downtown. It's downtown Boston, basically.
Yeah, I've been to the Berkeley Performance Center many times for many different things, and it's a great location to have a show.
Yeah.
But like we said, these are the types of things that we as Greeks, especially here in Boston, we need to support, and we need to, participate, because, the future of the Greek culture is what we make of it. If people aren't putting in the efforts like you, Pano, to bring these amazing events to light, it goes away. If people aren't supporting, it goes away. It's a combination of every Greek and, Phil Helene, who's interested to support these things. And this sounds like such a great event. How long have you guys been kind of putting this together?
So the only thing that I've been doing after summer was, working on this event. So it's a lot of organizational stuff that needs to happen, obviously. But also the musical material that we are presenting. We're trying to do it with a different angle. So the traditional way of doing things is a traditional way of doing things. We are still maintaining the spirit of the music, but we have a more contemporary approach to it. So you will definitely listen to Titanis, but even the choice, for instance, of Natasha Bofiliou as the leading figure into this is a particular thing, because Natasha is very important for doing all these other things, and she decided at some point in her life that she's also going to sing that older music, and they had very successful performances of a similar show in Athens a few years ago. And she's, she belongs to a younger generation. She's not that type of, heavy duty rebettis or that kind of person, she's, that extremely, bright in terms of who she is, and also in terms of her presence on stage, person. And so that's already a new angle to what Titanis music is.
So people are basically getting traditional with something new, something original, something unique.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I mean that's like the perfect combination for me. Because I love traditional. Don't get me wrong. If it was all traditional, I still think it would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was all brand new, never heard before, I think that would be super interesting. But kind of getting the essence of, the tradition and who we were and how it was to who we are now and how it is now, kind of merging these things, if I'm using the correct terminology, just sounds so cool. I mean, so cool.
And what we do in our shows, basically, besides from the actual musical performance, is that there is always some kind of a historical perspective that we put into it, either by, showing at the time of the show photographs, historical photographs, that is, in the background, telling stories about the songs and the composer that is being featured at any one of these shows. So it's not just a musical performance; it is also what you described before as a cultural event that showcases Hellenic identity in many aspects of it.
I have to tell you, if you tell me there's old black and white pictures of Greece and things happening in Greece, I'm in 100%.
Well,
I love it.
Just listening to you, Panos, is you're painting the vision and picture of us, or transporting us to having a performance outside of the Acropolis, under the sun setting, with that energy that you're bringing it here to Berkeley. So the one thing that I want to mention is, as long as Dr. Panos Liaropoulos stays in Boston, we will continuously have these high-level performances and events that allows us to still stay connected with that part of our culture.
It's very, very true. Very true.
So you can't leave. You have to stay here.
We're locking him down. So Pano, everything you described about this event sounds amazing. We personally know your work, what you've done, what you put into things, and how much it means to you. I mean, this is basically your life, right? And, there's no better person, in my opinion, to lead something on this caliber. And, we want everybody out there, again, you're Greek, you have Greek pride, you're interested in the Greek culture. Support these events. These events are so, there's so much to put into it. There's so much work that goes into it, but it's also something so important for us to have. I mean, if Panos not doing this, okay, it doesn't happen. But what do we miss out? What do we lose with that? We have to support, as Greeks, everybody knows that. So we do appreciate so much, Pano, that you took the time to be with us today. I know how crazy busy you are.
Thank you.
We appreciate so much the work that you do, stuff you've done with us, stuff you've done across the board. We appreciate that so much as Greeks in Boston and as Greeks just in general. And again, this event sounds amazing. It sounds like you guys really, put forth best effort, and it's going to just be something to behold. And, we're excited about it. We're going to link all the information, but we want everybody out there that's watching and listening, absolutely, please support these events. They are very important to our culture. They're very important to all involved. So please do that. And once again, Pano, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate that.
Likewise.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I just want to say two things. Number one, this is a concert at a concert hall, but what we are expecting from the people attending is to become one big parea with us and sing along and enjoy and be part of the show in that way, that will absolutely connect us. That's one thing. Then second thing is that our tickets are very reasonably priced. So we have several different tiers, but they are extremely reasonable in terms of what they cost for this particular event, for this high caliber event, because it is. And we would like to see, as many people as possible. They are from the community and beyond the community, actually. It is associated with the Greek American community, but we would definitely want to see more people there because it's important.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Very well put. Foti, I'm pretty excited.
Likewise. And I just wanted to also personally thank Panos for coming on, and also thanking Panos for participating in this past Saturday's Alpha Omega Honorary Gala. That was so refreshing to see you there and participating. I just wanted to mention that as well. It was a great time. But again, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you very soon. And we look forward to having you back on the show at some point to discuss more ventures and happenings.
Sure. Whenever you want. I am available. After the show, anytime.
All right. Once again, thank you everybody out there for watching and listening. Please support. All the information is going to be in the show notes. Thank you again, Panos Liaropoulos, for doing all that you do. Thank you, Foti. And thanks everybody out there for watching and listening. We will see you next time.
Yes, yes.